You can start investing now in smaller versions of what you see as the vision in your head of where you want to end up. That way you're educating yourself through your experience before you even get to the big deal that you see yourself having as an investor in the long run.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter.
So today I want to educate you. One of my favorite things to do is to educate you. I have many speakers on this show, and it probably seems like that's my favorite thing, is to interview my speakers. But actually, I wouldn't say that's my favorite thing. My favorite thing actually is to educate you, my listener. So I always have a variety of topics that occur to me to educate you guys on. And this is another one of those sort of random topics. The 5 best actionable tips on real estate. The 5 best actionable tips about real estate and in real estate investing. They're very, very simple, very, very basic, which is why I call them the 5 best actionable tips. First, know what you want to do in real estate. This is very straightforward. It's a very, very straightforward suggestion. What do you want to do in real estate? And the reason why I say, what do you want to do in real estate, is important to understand first, is because it will decide how you choose to finish the rest of the steps I'm going to suggest to you. So first, what do you want to do in real estate? Do you want to use real estate as a job to help you build your wealth and your asset base? Are you wanting to get a job in real estate because you're not starting with a lot of income of your own? Are you wanting to get a job in real estate because that's what excites you? Or are you wanting to be an investor in real estate? Some people call it passive investing, but honestly, there's a lot of investors that are not passive, but you want to own an asset in real estate. You want to own a single family. You want to own a multifamily. You want to own a commercial building. You want to own a storage unit. Or you want to invest in somebody else who's doing it for you. And so therefore, you are an investor. I want you to understand which one of these 2 is your focus and pick it, because it's going to affect what your focus is in my next suggestion. So number 2, develop your team. Very simple. Develop your team. If you want a job in real estate, you're going to want to develop the team that's going to help you do that job, whether it's flipping, whether it's wholesaling, whether it's running a real estate investment trust. You're going to need a team to support you. Develop your team if you want to be an investor, whether it's buying a single family, buying a multifamily, whether it's investing in storage units. You're going to want a team. How do you develop that team? Here's where the actionable steps come in. Are you ready? You go to real estate meetings, whether you do it online or whether you go in person. You go to real estate meetings and you collect people or collect business cards. You can call it whatever you want. But basically, you want to understand that you've just met another human being who can help you on your way. You may not know yet how that human being can help you, but that human being will most likely be able to help you along your way. And I want you to collect their information. And when you collect their information, I want you to put, maybe not in front of them, but either put it on the business card or you put it in your own notes that you like them, or you don't like them, you find them to be a jerk, or you trust them and you trust their integrity, or you find them competent or not. I want you to record this information because you might use this person as either a mentor who's in front of you, somebody who is next to you who would be a joint venture with you, or somebody who you might educate later, or somebody who might be an investor in one of your projects someday. So keep the information of the people you meet. Your network is a huge part of developing your team. Your friends might invest in your projects. Your friends might help you think through potential investments. Your friends might know people who are going to be able to help you. Your friends are one of the ways that you can find referrals or people who would eventually be able to help you. Go to real estate classes. I found some of my best investment partners in my real estate classes. And the reason why I liked my classes was because those people were as dedicated to real estate investing as I was. That's because they were in a class. They were clearly dedicated to real estate investing because they were taking a class on real estate investing. So go to classes. Now, there's another reason, obviously, to go to classes as well, which I'll touch on in a minute because that's point 3. Still on point 2, developing your team. Don't forget YouTube. YouTube is incredibly helpful because there are people who are experts or people who are mid-range experts who will have podcasts out, who will have YouTube channels, who will put together informational videos for you to be able to learn from. But also those people who put those videos together could potentially be team members. Remember, mentors who are in front of you, people who can help educate you, people you can take classes from, people who potentially might be a place where you could actually invest with them. Michael Blanc is a really good example of somebody who has YouTube, has educational courses, and will co-invest or have his company help his students to actually invest. And he has a lot of YouTubes out there, so he's not that hard to find. So that's step 2 is develop your team. Step 3, educate yourself. When I run my meeting, often almost every meeting, I say, what is the most important things that you need in real estate? Is education and your network. Everything else kind of follows. You don't have to have money to invest in real estate. If you develop a team and you develop your education so that your team can trust you, you will find that those 2 are the most valuable assets you have ongoingly through your investment career. So develop your education. Education helps you mitigate risk. It helps you make better decisions in understanding what to invest in. It allows you to be an expert in what it is that you're considering to invest in. So your education literally helps you lose less money. Seriously, it's one of the conversations in real estate is, which education did you get? Did you go to school and get an education from somebody who's actually offering a course in that? Or did you get your ass handed to you, or you get your backside handed to you, and now you got an education in the amount of money that you've lost? You probably will have both, just so you know, through your career. But if you educate yourself in a more formal fashion where you actually take courses in real estate, you will get further, faster, quicker, with less mistakes. So absolutely get educated. Also, when you educate yourself, you'll know what deals don't work, right? So how do you get yourself educated? YouTube. YouTube works for getting educated. Clubs. My club, the Phoebe Pasadena Club and the Phoebe Pasadena Multifamily Club, are very focused on educating our members. So you can get a pretty good education, about an hour worth of actual education on the basics of some subject, and maybe even sometimes the complexities of some subject, for about $20 an hour. Pretty cheap education. And yet you will hear one of the experts in the field presenting, otherwise they're not going to be up on the stage. So YouTube, clubs, and actually taking coursework. And there are lots of courseworks out there that you can take, ranging all the way from the Rich Dad to Fortune Builders to my coursework, to Bill Tan, who I just interviewed, to Paul Moore. I think he might have some coursework, or he did. David Tilney, Peter Fortunato, Gary Johnston. There are lots of people all the way from really big names to very small names that will offer you courses in the areas they are experts in. So classes, clubs, and YouTube are one of the best ways to get yourself educated. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, you've got to understand every deal is not for you. Like, you truly need to understand that. It kind of relates to point 1, which is know how you want to work in real estate, whether you have a JOB in real estate or you're investing in real estate. Know that every deal is not for you. You may not want to invest in an ATM deal. ATM deals may feel very scary to you. I was just talking with a client who's like, there's no way I'm ever investing in an ATM deal. Do you know what I've heard about those? There's some people who would never invest in a cannabis deal. There are some people who would never invest with mobile home parks, right? Not every deal is for you. So just be aware that even though they say, hey, you're going to get 15%, 20% return. Oh my God, wouldn't that be fantastic? Not every deal is for you. You know that because maybe the subject matter of the deal is not of interest to you. I just gave you some examples of that. The time and effort that you would need to put into the deal may not be of interest to you, as in it's a flip and you're a full-time job as a doctor running your own company, right? it is a multi-unit that is in Texas and you live in California, and there's no way that you're going to feel comfortable buying something out of state. So please understand that every deal is not for you. There's a vision in your head as to how you want to invest over time. There's a vision in your head about where you're going. So use your risk avoidance to help you, and use the vision in your head to guide you as to what kind of investor you want to be. If you see yourself owning multi-units, start with single families. If you see yourself owning commercial real estate or like retail, go ahead and invest with somebody else in another commercial project. You can start investing now in smaller versions of what you see as the vision in your head of where you want to end up. That way you're educating yourself through your experience before you even get to the big deal that you see yourself having as an investor in the long run. So that's number 4. Number 5, always do your due diligence. I would be greatly remiss if I did not tell you, always do your due diligence. Your due diligence is absolutely, it's where you apply your experience. It's where you apply your education. It's where you apply the vision, your risk tolerance, and the vision in your head is where all of that shows up, is in your due diligence. You always want to make sure that your team is a real team. The people you're investing with or through are people who are knowledgeable in their area, that they actually do have experience and a background in that asset class, in that region. If you're going to buy a single family unit as a rental in Texas, you want to buy from the local real estate agent who is the expert in that area, in that region, in single family investments. That is an investment in you understanding your team. So do your due diligence so you find the right team members. Second, do your due diligence on the asset. A lot of people think about the asset first and the team second. Honestly, I do team first and asset second, because if I have a good team member, they will help me define quality assets. I cannot do well in my investing if my team is misguiding me or wasting my time. I do better with assessing my team first, then my asset second. So do your due diligence on the asset. If it's a single family, will it actually cash flow? If it is a flip job where you're forcing appreciation into the property, what's the actual appreciation that's going to show up? Do the actual due diligence on the region, the city, the neighborhood, the asset, so that you understand the asset inside of the larger picture. For me, I do my due diligence all the way up to the US economy and sometimes the international economy and what's going on, so that I understand how that asset is performing in the background, against the background of all of these other steps. That might be a little much for some people who are newer investors. I admit I kind of geek out on that. That's me. Do your due diligence on the asset. Will it do what it's supposed to do? Don't listen to just the people on your team. Do your due diligence yourself. Get on the computer and type in vacancy factor for Austin, Texas. Type in management companies for Austin, Texas. Type in rents on Rentometer for this house in Austin, Texas. You can absolutely do your own due diligence, even if you do not consider yourself an expert. If you've got a question in your head, type into Google to find the answer on the asset that you're considering, and then ask your team as well. So do your due diligence. I would be so remiss if I didn't tell you that. Now that's 5 tips, guys. Here's 5 tips. Ready? Here's a bonus tip. Tip number 6, a bonus tip. Don't get greedy. I have to say it. Real estate has a lot of shiny objects in it. You're going to get 15%. You're going to get 20%. You're just going to be completely passive. Don't worry. We're going to no money in. There are lots of shiny objects that people will sell in real estate, and some of them are too good to be true, because they are too good to be true. So I'm not saying that real estate is not a field full of honest people who've worked very hard, who have a high level of fiduciary duty and a high level of character and integrity. There are many of us who are that way, but there are some who are not that way. So don't let the shiny objects engage your greed bug, because it will cloud your vision on your team, on your due diligence, on being able to make a sound decision. Now, just so you know, it doesn't even have to be the bad guy. I've been greedy and I've made poor decisions because my vision was clouded with the returns I wanted to get. And I thought I was willing to work that hard, or I was willing to da. So just so you know, if you feel it bubbling up inside of you and you feel your mouth starting to drool over the returns or over the possibility, you might need to double check. Did I leave my greed at the door? And am I using my better self to make this decision? Or is it really that greed that's whispering underneath? So I got to put that out there as bonus number 6, because I've caught myself in it and I've seen other people in it as well. And it's not just because people out there are using you, it's you yourself can cloud your own judgment based upon your own greediness. So those are my 5 best actionable tips on real estate. 1, understand what you want to do in real estate, at least some general understanding of whether you want to be an investor or whether you want a job in real estate. 2, develop your team. Your team will absolutely take care of you if you take care of them. They will bring you your deals and they will help you make sound decisions. Without your team, you're basically going to be flying blind. 3, get yourself educated. Education mitigates your risk. It also gives you experience without you having to actually have the experience, and you will make better deals. 4, realize every deal is not for you. You have an internal risk tolerance and a vision in your head that is guiding you through your real estate investing. Trust those levels of instinct. 5, do your due diligence. Always, every deal, every time, do your due diligence. And the bonus tip, don't get greedy. My name is Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show. Thank you so much. Tune in next week for your next educational segment.